This episode of the podcast is brought to you, as always, by Rakesh Joshi Law PLLC in Albany, New York. Attorney Rakesh Joshi is an accomplished trial attorney and has been admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. He is also a licensed patent and trademark attorney with the USPTO. Contact him if you have a serious case in New York State, or if you need to patent an idea that you have, or enforce a trademark or copyright in any of the 50 U.S. states or our territories, and actually internationally as well. You can call him at 518-635-0725 or visit his website to learn more and send an email at rakeshjoshilaw.com.
Hey, buddy. All right. Recording.
Yeah, good. Chase, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, what were you saying? I saw the links you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're selling some tests for about $250.
Yeah, test kit if you get 20 of them, and they're finger prick testing.
Okay, so they're using a blood sample. Okay.
Yeah, right. Which is supposedly, from what I saw, from what it says, it helps to eliminate some of the false positives, which I sent you a link on that earlier too, right? That there are a lot of false positives. False positives? Yeah, false positives coming out of China and all the testing. Right, so this helps eliminate that. But this is just only test for your immune response to the virus. And there's two different versions, right? One that'll test, it tests, I guess, if you've been exposed to it for about a week, and another one where if you've been exposed to it for over 2 weeks.
Right, so it tests the serum, the blood serum levels. Is that what it's doing? And based on if you have A, then that means you've been very recently infected, about 7 days. And if you have B, then you've been infected for maybe 14 or more days.
Right.
Okay. So that means they're looking at the response of the body as opposed to the government kits. I think they're checking for the genome markers. They're just checking for presence of the virus particle itself in the body.
Yeah, it must be right because those are nucleic acid tests or something, right? Or no, maybe these.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if they're checking for nucleic acid, that means they're looking at the DNA or RNA of the virus particles, and giving a output based on that.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know about the turnaround time. Does this say how quick you can get the result for this kit? Is it a do it yourself?
DIY. It's a 15-minute test. It's like a pregnancy test. 2 lines, you're positive, 1, something like that.
Right. Okay. So that means it's much quicker, absolutely more convenient. So a family can just get one kit and test 15 people at home, or an apartment building can just test everybody in there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just heard in the president's address that it seems millions of kits have already been, not kits, but millions of tests have already been sent out to all the states. I guess they're trying to figure out how to now administer these tests. Obviously, they're not going to be as DIY as this test that you just sent me a link to. But I heard them talking about maybe they'll do drive-thrus where you'll be given the swab yourself and the tube. You insert the swab in your nostrils deep. Maybe it'll have a marker. Insert this deep in your nostril, and then maybe give it a twirl or two if you really like it, and then put it in the tube and hand it over to the facilitator, and the nurse or whoever is facilitating that test will then take it, label it, test it, and you'll get the result. The advantage of the DIY kit obviously is the convenience. The disadvantages is the reporting. Will everybody report it, and will the government have direct access to it? Will people report it accurately? I'm not saying I don't trust people, but I'm just saying, that's one thing. Is it going to become public information as quickly, or is it just going to become some trade secret? People don't want to be ostracized or stuff like that.
Right.
But then again, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I wasn't going to say anything important anyway. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. But then again, the government tests, there can be mistakes, errors, mislabeling as well. And then the false positives is a risk, I understand. It's not that rampant. And I think it's because of so many factors. The sample is adulterated or mishandled, and so many things. So this is good. And changing the stream of thought a little bit, I just looked at the figures worldwide. Tests about 303,000 positives and approximately 13,000 deaths. So the worldwide population, worldwide percentage of deaths is about 4.3%. Let's just be conservative and say 4%. That's a lot compared to 0.02 or something for the regular flu. And then in America, right now, the death mortality rate, the death percentage is about 1%. I think that's the best figure. So
it could be higher because, right, we're hearing that. Well, I just read that there was a lot of false positives with the tests that they were doing in China.
Well, if you say that, if they're false positives, then it's a bleaker situation. That means there are less infected people, but more deaths, and the percentage instead of 4.29, that is 4.3, could be 6 or 7%. We hope that's not the case, and the false positives are not those many. But I also feel this huge number could be because of countries like Iran who are still struggling, and maybe they have a higher death rate because maybe more older people. Maybe Italy has the demographics. People survive longer maybe, and they're older, or the underlying health issues, and so on and so forth. So maybe America has a better figure of 1% because of that. And also our treatment. Maybe we are very aggressive in trying to save people, and we have been successful. 1% is still a lot. They just tested 1% one person tested positive in Chile. That is South America. That means that person was infected either today, 7 days ago, or 14 days ago. I don't know why they selected that person for a test. Maybe because the person complained of symptoms. That means symptoms start showing about 14 days. So guaranteed that's not the only person infected. There could be a few more, hundreds, thousands. We don't know. This virus has been spreading very, very fast. That's another issue with it. So I don't know, is the government really worried about the 1% mortality rate, or are they not telling us something else as well, such as a relapse? What happens if... Now, I know you said about some people not showing any symptoms at all. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're immune to it. There's no immunity to this. We have not evolved to be immune to this virus at all. It only means that person's immune system is fighting it in a way that it's not displaying symptoms. It's fighting it without showing inflammation or all those symptoms, right? Fever, raising the body temperature, and it's just fighting it successfully in some way. Just maintaining that balance, the yin and yang of the virus and antibodies, instead of doing too much yang and then the lungs get all flooded by liquid and fluid, and a person develops pneumonia. It's the body's response that is causing problems in these cases. I don't know, man.
There's something weird going on, right? Where you've got this class or group or somehow response to it where they're not showing any symptoms but supposedly spreading it everywhere, right?
Of course.
So like infected but no symptoms. That's weird.
Yeah. If you're infected and whether you show symptoms or not, the viruses are so tiny that if you put 1,000 people in a room and one person sneezes and they're within range, a person emits within just one sneeze enough to inoculate 1,000 people. That is to infect 1,000 people. Now, thankfully, every time we sneeze, we don't have 1,000 people around us. But one sneeze is enough. If you're within range, like you could be 5 or 10 people, boom, you got it.
Right.
And because this is highly infective, which means the way the virus is physically shaped or whatever it is very efficient in attaching and then entering a cell, right? Because that's how viruses really replicate. First, they enter the cells. They need to enter the cells. On their own, they do nothing. And they enter a host, and then they infect. It's like acid. Sitting in a glass bottle, everything's inert. Nothing's happening with the acid. You put a drop on your skin, it's going to start burning. If it's phosphoric acid or something very diluted, it's not going to burn too much. Or citric acid from lemon juice, it's not going to burn too much. But I mean, of course, try putting lemon juice in your eye, then it will burn. But then if you have hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, that's a very violent reaction, like battery acid. That has sulfuric acid, very low pH. So that's the thing. I think this virus is just unique in so many ways. I wish there was more information put out about this virus as well. Maybe they think it's not important to start educating people and boring them with a science lecture, but maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll still tell people, hey, yeah, I can get infected and I can spread this faster because this is an efficient machine. These particles are just awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of educated people, they could take the information and do something with it.
Yeah,
yeah. And that, that's a weird thing, right? Like it's so, right, it's supposedly so efficient, right, in terms of, like you said, you gave the example, right? You sneeze in the room, everybody's going to get it, but why is there a group, and we don't know how big, like in terms of what percent of those infected, where they're just not really being affected by it, right? They're infected, but they're not affected in terms, at least as far as we know, right, with no symptoms.
Well, this is the thing. Maybe this virus is not that dangerous. That's the answer to it.
Right. That's what I wondered too, man. That's when we talk about, like, is all this response to the virus worse than the the virus, or what's going on?
And I don't mean to mislead. I'm not saying it's not dangerous, as in, I'm just saying in comparison, it's not that dangerous, as in, it's not like the plague or one of those viruses. However,
if the death rate's at 4%, then it is, right? I mean, that's
it is.
really
Well,
bad.
Well, what I'm saying is, when you get the plague, then you're pretty much done. When you get AIDS, you are pretty much done.
Right.
No?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, in
they
comparison,
get drugs for it now and stuff, but
yeah, that's all I mean.
Yeah. It has to be then. It has to be. Right, it's got to be one or the other, that it's incredibly infectious or it's very dangerous. So it's,
well,
if I mean, That means a lot of people more infected than we know, right?
Right, but HIV is dangerous, we know. It's viral. Now, plague, I know it's bacterial, but I'm just going to use that example because you get infected by it, you're pretty much done. You're done. Yeah, it's just a matter of when, not if.
Right? Right.
In this case, compared to the influenza virus, it's of course way more lethal. 4%, 1%. It's a lot. I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is, you're saying, well, what's going on with the other people? I think it's like a combination lock. Most people do not have all the numbers in them, so this virus is okay with them. As soon as you get all the numbers right, it's not too many numbers, and those numbers are probably like, it's a 3 or 4 digit combination lock. One of the combination is age, number is age. The second one is some underlying condition regarding your respiration. Okay. Number 3 is some immunosuppressing quality of that person. That's number 3. And number 4, maybe it's stress or something like that. That's it.
Right.
So most
the
people
weird thing is that
do not
pattern's not emerging yet, right? That's the weird thing.
It's not
at
emerging
least so far. Right.
Well, they are saying 60 plus. So they're saying 60 plus really bad, 40 to 60 bad, under 40. So 20 to 40, not that crazy. And then 1 to 20, well, pretty much nothing's going to really bad going to express in you. So it's a combination lock, all these digits, and depending on country to country, depending on the demographics, a lot of people are hitting those numbers. That's what I mean by not crazy dangerous for everybody. But if you are, I think I've made my point. That's what I mean. 1% is crazy. 1% is very scary. That means and the way it's spreading, that means if everybody were to get it in America, 330 million, we are looking at 3.5 million people potentially dead. Even at 1%. That's a lot of people. That's like almost the entire population of a big city like New York City or one of those cities.
Yeah. Which
must crazy.
That's why the big response, it has to be that must
yes.
be, hey, that's what they understand. We have
They do understand. What they understand is this spreads so fast. It's like wildfire, and this is the time. And that's why even now, it's been 3 weeks, dude, since you and me discussed and we called for at least close down the schools and universities.
Mm-hmm.
And on the news, they keep saying, oh, we are in day 7 on 15 days of solitude. But no, New York just shut their schools. In fact, on this Tuesday, today is what, Saturday? Okay, 4 days ago on Tuesday, they were planning to have they actually had all the students or their parents go to the schools and pick up materials for home study. This Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, only 3 days between them.
Oh, did you see that article about that DiBlasio was going to the Y to go work out?
Yeah. So he said, we're going to shut down the gyms. And then he goes and works out to get one last workout. The idea is to perform social distancing, not to get that one last workout in. What an idiot, man. And that's the attitude. He did not close the schools until this Monday. Until Saturday night, he kept saying he's more worried about, he cares about education. This is just a political stunt for this guy. He doesn't care about fucking education. He's not sitting there and educating poor kids. He's not even in New York City most of the time.
That was like the Chris Christie thing. Remember a couple years ago where they shut down the New Jersey beach and then he was there with his whole staff at the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Everybody off except me. We're shutting down the gyms except me. I can go.
He refused to shut down any of this. The subways are still running. Everything's still running in New York City. And finally, in fact, The 100% close down for even business does not go into effect until tomorrow night. Not even today, tomorrow night. So New York is not yet shut down.
Well, I'm surprised. I wonder why. Because Cuomo's been pretty,
Cuomo first started with 50%, then he said 75%, then he said 100%. Now it's 100%. And secondly, dude, I wish Governor Cuomo would actually tell people how long this is going to last, because people are already stressed out. Now they're wondering what they can do. They can't even plan anything with their children or whatever time they have at home. Tell people, hey, it's gonna be 3 weeks. It's gonna be 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Put the number out. People are already stressed out. Don't keep them guessing about everything. First it was 50%, then 75%. And some people are wondering, should I go? And then employers are pressuring people to show up at the office. Until this became 100%. That's what I mean. There's something scary about this virus. Until you can figure it out, you've got to do it right. And even if you talk about the cures and all that, and Trump is optimistic and some more people are optimistic, I understand retroviral drugs, malaria drugs, quinone, chloroquine, the synthetic form of quinone, I guess. And all these things in combination may not help. We understand that. But right now is not the time to guess, because we could be talking about a mass extinction of a lot of people. And once they're gone, they're gone. So there's something unique about this virus, and that's what they need. Come on, man.
That's what we'll know in 30 years when all the papers come out, when we have the Freedom of Information release, and we'll know what's the real deal with the virus. Till then, we're all guessing. You're right, because there's been a lot of different information and a lot of lack of information, and that means to me, hey, there's a lack of information for some reason. Why is this so bad that we need to shut everything down, but there's no clear info on it?
Right. Nobody's talking, oh, it's scary, it's bad, or anything like that. They're talking about bringing in all these ships, naval ship hospitals, getting ready for all this, ramping up everything. Millions and millions of masks, hundreds of thousands of respirators, hundreds of thousands of respirators. That's something. So they're preparing all this, yet they're saying, but we're going to come out of this, everything's cool. Nobody's saying why they're doing it. Why is coronavirus this deadly? I mean, no, not deadly. They're not even using the word deadly. Why are we doing all this? If nobody's showing these signs and symptoms, very few people, and you're not going to test everybody, you're only going to test people with symptoms, that means this is going to be a huge task. First they said a few days, now few weeks. Some are now saying a few months. Some states are, the third state to go into complete lockdown now, it seems, is New Jersey. Some other states are also taking steps. So what is really going on? The entire world economy has come to a grinding halt, but they still won't tell you why it's this serious. Why are the actions being taken? Such serious actions being taken.
And
my message to go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got a message.
But don't forget what you are going to say.
Yeah, I won't.
My message to Governor Cuomo, and you know what? This is no political bias. He has a job to do. He is the governor. He's the only one who can get this done. So more power to him, longer life to him, and hopefully he does everything right. And I hope whatever he's doing is going to pay back well. So I wish him help and wisdom. My message to him is reduce the stress of the people. The federal government said, let me give you examples, 3 examples of stress. 1, Daylight savings. Do you know a lot of people
I hate daylight
die of
savings.
heart attacks?
Eliminate it.
Eliminate it.
Really, because of it? I don't doubt it.
No, hang on. No, these are facts. The very next day after daylight saving time changes, there is a spike in heart attacks in America. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
Thousands of people are dying because of daylight savings. Remove the stress out of people's lives. And this is somewhat in winter. People are already stressed and depressed because of winter. Now you're changing. That 1 hour, dude, causes a lot of stress in our rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Human bodies have a rhythm, and we disturb that rhythm by 1 hour. It's like a jet lag forced upon everybody. A lot of people are susceptible to that, and they die. They go into cardiac arrest. Take it off. That's one example. And please take it off. Come on, you can do this. You have shut down everything. This is the time you can do it. This is the time you can do it. And, this is my message to Andrew Cuomo. If he does it in New York, all the neighboring states are going to do it. Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine, everybody. And as soon as this happens, the northeastern corridor, the eastern corridor will follow.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland will do it. Virginia will do it. Washington, D.C. will do it. Everybody will. And he has enough clout that if he does something, Trump is going to notice that. Trump's a New Yorker.
Yeah. Those states have Arizona's done it, but nobody cares. Nobody even knows that Arizona's done it.
Because nobody cares about Arizona, but New York does it, and they got to do it. People are dying of heart attacks. The same number of people that you're worried about for coronavirus, it's happening.
That's
number
crazy.
one. Number two, taxes. The feds did it right. First they said 90 days to pay the taxes, but file by April 15th. Now they just extended it. So May, June, July, boom. It's in July 15th, same day for filing deadline, and same day for paying the taxes. No fines or interest on because it's not going to be a late payment. That is your new date for 2020. That is a huge stress factor for people. You won't believe it. And that's my second example. Number three, everybody's talking about the $1,000 check and $1,200 check, $13. Cuomo, listen. Give people a 25% break on all property and school taxes. You're not going to administer exams this year. There are no schools this year. Give them a percentage off. That's my third point. Taxes cause a lot of stress in people. Do it for this year. It's possible. It's in your hand. Do it. Daylight savings, right? Do that. And your taxes. So these are my examples, man. They got to take away the stress, take away and tell. Okay, so 3 points I made. Daylight savings. Tell people how long this is going to last. At least give them 3 or 4 weeks guaranteed. This is what's going to happen. And it's not just about people taking time off. They're forced to take time off. They can spend time with their family or whatever. Or some people can take up some part-time jobs, which involve no contact. It could be a landscaping thing on a property where the person is in Florida and this guy is just going to go there and do some handyman work. People can find alternatives, or they can start delivering pizzas. They don't know now. Should I take a pizza delivery job today, or all these restaurants that have converted into delivery, they are looking for people. There are people who want to fit into that. Mm-hmm. Give them an avenue to make some money out of dignity by giving them a finiteness of this. That's why I'm saying that. So daylight savings. Number two is that tell them a definite deadline, at least for 3 weeks, at least for 4 weeks. After that, we'll come up with a new one. Or you go back to your jobs, or what if they exist. And number three, give them the tax breaks on property taxes and on school taxes, or at least on school taxes. Give them 50% off on school taxes. The schools are not operating. There's no administrative cost going on right now. Other than the teacher salaries, there's no other cost going on. No exams are going to be held. None of that testing is going to be done. Give them a break. There you go. That's where I'm going to leave it, buddy, for today. Unless there's something else you want me to talk about. I can talk about viruses, but I think we have we've talked enough about viruses.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like it. I just want to recognize, I don't want to go off into a tangent, but I want to recognize a good point, almost kind of mark it for another day, another time to flesh it out more. But the point you make is really important, that, you know, really what the government should do, right, whether it's Cuomo or the federal government or local governments, is to, you know, you're there to make life better for everybody, not the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
people who are in there, who take that responsibility seriously, which are the only type of people we want in there, should be thinking about that nonstop, you know, like that's their life, you know, like how can I make life better for everybody, right? Exactly. Daylight saving sucks. People are having heart attacks. Let's get rid of it, right? Or the taxes for this, we can do without it, right? Trim it down, make life better for people. It's an important point. You don't hear people say. That's what I mean. I want to like bookmark that.
I appreciate that. I'm going to Google, if you have a second, daylight savings, heart attacks. Google actually has that phrase, daylight savings time, 4 surprising health effects of falling back and spring forward. Twice a year, switching between daylight saving time and standard time throws off our usual routine. Appetite is often not the body requesting food, so appetite is affected. Accidents are happening. 5.7% jump in workplace injuries and nearly 68% more work days lost to injuries. 68% more work days lost, meaning they were more severe, right? What else? Mood swings. And why? Yeah, exactly like you said. You know, reduce the stress of people are already stressed out, man. People are poor.
Right.
Don't stress them out more. You're right. Their sole purpose should be, I'm here for public service. How can I improve their lives every second of the time? If I were there, that's all I would be thinking about. I would be fine-tuning this machine, tweaking it every day until I start with a Casio, and by the time I retire, it's a fucking Rolex.
Yep.
It's a Swiss movement. I have to. That should be my commitment. I cannot go in with I'm not beating down on Casio. Casio makes solid watches. I'm talking about the $15 watch that Casio produces in Malaysia or Singapore or India or wherever, Taiwan, and the Swiss Rolex watch. That should be the difference that you come in and you leave with. And the spring forward has, and this is on NBC News. I'm not reading off CNN or Fox, okay? So nobody can accuse me. I'm reading for NBC News. The spring forward has links to heart attacks and certain strokes.
Yeah, of course. And I know it's one of those really simple things, but man, it
right.
is. I dread it every year.
There you go. And you are one of the fittest people I know. You eat well. You, in fact, eat so well that it is ridiculous. You buy fresh groceries, and it's so ridiculous. You buy it every day, so you can get the freshest, you think. So that it's really ridiculous, man. And even you are stressed out about it. You dread it. Look at the word, the choice of words, dread. Why? That's not nice. So a 2014 U.S. study showed 1 hour sleep during the spring forward to daylight saving times raised the risk of having a heart attack the following Monday by 24% compared to other Mondays during the year.
Jeez.
By contrast, when falling back later in the year to gain an extra hour of sleep, heart attack risk fell 21% on the following Tuesday after returning to standard time. So there you go. You have an effect on people. You can make this. And this is easy to change. Now that all the flights have been grounded, really, it's really about flights, right? Mostly. Who's affected by time mostly? Flights. We don't want accidents. We don't want confusion. Change it now. Everything's grounded. There you go.
Yeah,
those are my 3 suggestions to Mr. Cuomo, who's doing a fantastic job. Like I said, more power to him, longer life to him, and more wisdom to him.
No, they're good. They're good suggestions, buddy. Good suggestions, and there's plenty of problems to solve, right? All around. It surprises me that with all the different levels of government, the different counties and towns and stuff you have, that we don't see more like variety in terms of solutions like that.
Yeah.
It kind of surprises me. If every municipality is kind of its own little corporation, right?
Yeah.
You would think there would just be more, right? More ingenuity, more interesting things, right? Solutions to different problems like this. There's a zillion things that we could think of.
Yeah.
Right.
And these are easy to fix. These things can be fixed today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The daylight savings thing
across the board.
Right. We are here right now. It's easy to do. Tell people then finiteness on this break. How long is this break going to last? It's like sending somebody on vacation and not telling them when they have to come back. This is going to cause stress in people. And if that stress is one of the combination in that combination, one of the numbers in the combination lock for this one, it's bad. And do you know that stress can also express the virus in a different way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making this up.
Right.
When you're stressed, why do you fall ill quicker than when you're not stressed?
Yep.
Because of that. The body's response is different, and then it spits out the virus in a different way or faster way.
Maybe that's the answer to the people who are walking around infected.
That's the answer. That could be one of the answers. Because I did name it as one of the numbers of that combination lock.
Yep. Well, everybody knows,
and
right?
We know,
the immune system.
Yeah. And maybe there's one more number that is sex, right? They say males are dying more than females. So that's another. The X chromosome is making the difference. So we definitely know that based on these, the model right now, we know X chromosome makes a difference. Stress, we know in all diseases makes a difference. Let's take care of those things, Governor Cuomo. Let's take care of those things. You will end up on top anyways, but you will end up on top not only for this issue, but for many other issues. And in fact, President Trump should also listen to this and do it. So I'm going to end it there.
Good, man.
No,
good. Yeah. Good suggestions. Good information.
And maybe if you want to put this in the intro, that's fine. There's some, none of these are politicized, biased, or anything like that. I want all these leaders to succeed because we are in this together. I'm not showing any symptoms today. Neither are you, but we want it to be that way. We want no more people to show these symptoms. We should be able to stop this virus, pump the brakes on it, flatten the curve, and come out of this. We cannot afford to lose more people. Because losing people is a statistic to you and me and to everybody else. But for family, these are people. Fathers lost, the children are fatherless. The mother does not have the father in the family. If their parents are surviving, they just lost a child, and it's so many things. And there's the financial impact. Maybe he's a genius, or the mother is a doctor and she's a genius, or she's a worker, and or she runs a pizza place and she makes the best pizzas. All these customers love her. She's just gone one day. This is something that we can control right now. Reduce the stress in people's lives. Maybe their immunity, the immune systems will fight it better. And by declaring how long this break is going to be, by declaring that we are going to cut off taxes by 25% or 50%, at least for school taxes, because that is justified. Okay, property taxes, I understand. Maybe everybody's living in their properties. I understand. But what about school taxes? The impact is there, and there's going to come And, you know, all this will be covered by the stimulus package anyways. What's the ones that are not going to be covered are the common people. We need to cover them quickly. This you can do. You have the magic wand. These things, Andrew Cuomo, he can do it. And the daylight savings is going to save so many heart attacks. And you use the word dread. You dread it.
I mean, I might have been, have been exaggerating a little bit, but I really don't.
No,
like
but
it.
still,
it is a thing that
that's
I
what I
think
mean.
About. Yeah.
Listen, man. Yeah. So if you're thinking about it all your life, and that should move people, the leaders here, they should say, hey, if our people are suffering from heart attacks, how come we haven't done anything about this? Is this some kind of joke for us? We need to change this. We should change this yesterday. Dude, it disturbs me a lot. I don't know about you, but I'm really bad with jet lags. That 1 hour threw me off for days, maybe even weeks. It threw me off, just that 1 hour.
Yeah.
So people with severe jet lag issues, it's a forced jet lag on the United States of America. There are many countries that don't even follow this, and they're huge.
Right. And there's no purpose to it. Is the worst.
There's no purpose to it. There's no purpose to it.
It's legacy, right? Code left in the system and needs to be just deleted.
It's bad code lingering around, causing all these bad effects. It has no useful purpose. The internet has changed everything. It's a 24-hour cycle now we live in. Everything's 24 hours. We don't need daylight savings anymore. We have electricity.
Right.
So come on, do it. Tear down that wall, Mr. Governor. Do it.